Hey guys, welcome back. This is Val. In today's video, I'm gonna show you 3 keys to kitbashing inside DAZ Studio. Now, what is kitbashing? Well, it's copying and mixing stuff inside a scene, right? For instance, you can grab this building and you can create a clone out of that, and then you can grab that clone and move it to elsewhere, right? And you can quickly kitbash within the same scene. Now, another thing is to load items from another scene, right? Like for instance, you can grab another stonemason prop, just real quick, showcasing here what it means. Jungle modules, you can load a jungle kit banana and throw it in here and use that in your scene as well, or portions of it, right? Now, there's 3 keys I want to mention that will help you kitbash so it looks good. Number 1 is to kitbash items of similar quality and look. Now, just because we are in a kind of urban, abandoned area, doesn't mean you can go ahead and load any urban area or any other props for that matter, right? There might be a bad fit, so to speak. Let me show an example. Here I am inside a different artist folder, Schlossworks, and we got the Gothic cloister. And I'm just gonna load a Gothic pool just to show what I mean here. And that is kind of like a no-brainer, right? But that doesn't really fit well, right? There is a disconnection. Now, another disconnection can be that items are of different quality, right? Sometimes you can have a decent, the same look, so to speak, but the quality is not there. And as an example, I'm looking at here an older stonemason prop called the Warehouse. There is like maybe 18 years, 15, 18 years between these two, right? So if I start to load items from this set, for instance, the box group here, right? And I look at that here and position it next to, let's see where it is. There it is, right? And I position that kind of close to the newer stuff here. We can see that there is a quality difference, right? The stuff made, the newer stuff have more details, better textures, they look more advanced, right? And sometimes that is enough to just break the illusion. So key number 1 is to try and go for similar quality, similar look, and when looking at the same artist, go for items that are, if they are newer, look for newer. Don't make super old items like 20 years back in time, right? So key number 2 has to do with texture brightness or texture look. Sometimes when you add items, they are just not matching, right? Maybe they are just, some props look a little bit brighter or some look a little bit darker. So let me show an example. I'm gonna here load a different set. And for instance, I can go into my own set called Ascension Noir and just load pebbles, right? These are scanned assets, and pretty much when I add them to the scene, they end up over here, and we can just, place them like that, and immediately we can sense that something is off. They are a little bit bright looking, and they are also kind of maybe the wrong color, right? So one thing you can always do when you're kitbashing between different projects is to go for, in this case, the pebbles, right? And now click here and choose a different color. Maybe I want to make them a little bit darker, right? Maybe I want to make them a little bit blue toned, and just see where exactly does this fit, right? Pretty close. I'd say maybe a little bit darker. Something like that, right? maybe a little bit more. So by making them more whitish here, I'm kind of removing a little bit of color that maybe suits other items like a desert thing, right? Then of course we have scale. Just because this particular prop, the pebbles, kind of work well in this case, maybe they do not work well in a different scene, right? Maybe you need to scale them a little bit to make them fit. So there is that thing of scale as well, right? It depends on the overall look and how things look like. How does the rest of the stuff look like, right? And so forth and so forth. So number 3 has to do with a cool kind of neat feature inside DAZ Studio that wasn't always present, but it's present now, and it will dramatically help you and to quickly populate your scenes. And it's this. It's nested. Normally when you copy using the node instance tool, you might not be aware of that, but the clones it makes are kind of live and active. So you can always add to the original and the clone will update live. So let me show you how that works. It's pretty cool. Remember we made the copy in the beginning of this video of this building here and kind of just stacked it here into the wall, right? So let me show you how that works. We created here a copy. I think it's over here, right? Now let me just see where I put it. Let me do a new copy because there it is. That's our copy, right? So now I can move that out of the way. By the way, moving copies like I'm doing here is ultra quick, right? It's almost live, as opposed to moving the original. That's gonna take a little bit while to update for the graphic card, so it's more choppy. Sometimes you can even wait half a second to see something happen, right? But the clone is very, very fast. It's almost instant. And they also do not take up much memory because they are just simple copies, right? Now what I mean here is to use this cool feature that DAZ has, and it works like this. This is our base before we copied it. Now I'm gonna put something on top. I'm gonna grab this thing here, the dumpster, and put it on top of that building. See what happened here? It immediately ended up here. Now look what happens when I move it up. See, it's the clone is active and is constantly updating it. So when I put it here on the roof, like that, the clone also has it. So if I move the clone, it moves with that thing attached. So key number three is to use this nested node instance feature of DAZ, because you can frankly really rapidly Kitbash using this by, for instance, grabbing this building and throwing that on top of building 8, right? And then moving that here. I think I didn't really put it where I wanted to put it. Let me just back up 2 times. I wanted to put it inside. There it is. Now it's inside, and now I can move it here and scale it and move it up. See what I'm doing now? I can rapidly create unique shapes of anything. I can just stack items right into this base folder, and then the copy becomes all of that. It's active and it's constantly evolving as I drop new items there, right? So it just takes seconds or minutes, depending on how much stuff you have, right, to kitbash your scenes into oblivion, right? It's that powerful. So guys, that's all the 3 keys. Now go ahead, check out my store at DAZ. There is a link below this video. You will find a ton of cool props and items that you can use for kit bashing. That's all for this video, guys. Thanks so much for watching. See you soon again.